Hello. Okay. To answer a question in particular, I'm going to basically just kind of explain lighting, wiring, and whatnot on these gauge clusters. My car is an 84. This is not the proper gauge cluster for it. A note I will simply make. This gauge cluster is circa 1979 to 1983. Dodge Omni Chargers, TC3s, 024s. The only Chargers they were actually in was, I believe, the 83 Shelby Charger when they started calling them that. Before that, it was 024 and TC3. This is my car's original gauge cluster. I believe the YouTuber's name is Serial. The question he had was about lighting. This should be the gauge cluster he has, because they used this cluster from 1984 to 1987 on all Dodge Chargers, Dodge Omnis, Plymouth Turismos, Turismo Dusters, Plymouth Horizons. And the Horizons and Omnis went up to 89 with this cluster, and then in 90 they changed it slightly for the 1 year. Lighting is actually very simple. You must have something wrong with your factory wiring, either at the switch. I actually have them pulled out because, actually not all of them. It looks like there's one right here. Okay, the plastic thing's missing. Basically, if you look, when you pull them out, you can see the bulbs because there's actually nothing behind it. You can kind of see it goes inside the cluster. If you take these two screws out on the bottom, not necessarily these ones, you don't have to, but you may, but these two, and this whole front fascia will come off, and you'll be able to just see the gauge pods, and then you can actually see past them and see these lights. If it's factory, they should still have a green plastic cover over it to kind of give them the greenish tint that they have. It looks like in this cluster there is one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These two are actually warning lights. Usually if it's got a warning light, when you pull it through you can look and you can see something behind it. And if you have trouble, you hold it up to the light and you can see it through it. So like for example, that's the turn signal. So you know we've got the turn signal, the high beam, the other turn signal, 3 other warning lights that are in the middle of the fuel and whatnot. I can't remember even what they all are. There's a brake warning light and oh no, that is a lighting light right there. So it looks like there are 7 lighting bulbs, because there's one there. In order to get at that one, all you have to do is just take out the screw and pull this off. This is the tachometer module. If you have a tachometer on one of these gauge clusters that's malfunctioning, it's either working sometimes or not working, or bounces around a lot, simply get a soldering iron and just retouch up all these connections. Put it back on, I'll bet you it'll work. The lighting on these factory ones, it's all simple and analog. It's just this little orange wire at the bottom of the blue connector here. So if your wiring is really not working, if nothing else, just hook it up to a switch. Once you put power to that orange wire, it'll all light up. If you take a look at one of my other videos, night drive in the Shelby, which is somewhere on my list, I take my car out for a little ride when I was testing this camera at night, and you can see that mine is all backlit with blue LEDs. So I'll actually go to the garage and show you those quick, because those are kind of fun. We'll take this with me. I got my wife a new probe. I'm working on that right now. I've got the red carpet out of her old one, and I'm getting that ready. Wife's old probe on the street out there. What I did for the fun lighting, and can be done on this one as well, a lot of newer model vehicles and Chryslers actually have green plastic on the gauges, so it won't work so well. But on these older ones, these gauge pods are actually metal, and all the light that lights up the gauges is actually coming from around them. So I've got these little blue LED lights, Now, at most auto parts stores, a pack of 2 of these little bastards will cost you like $10. But if you go online, you can get them from Hong Kong. I got 10 of these things for less than $7. Now, given it took about 3 weeks to get them to me, but, come on there, you little arse. They're polarity sensitive, just like the normal ones. I just have to kind of bend the wire out to the outside because they're kind of chintzy. So if they don't work one way, you pull them out, flip them over, put them in the other way. Because that's all you have to do. Like, I'll take this one out here. You just pop the little ball out like that. And then stick it in there, just like that. And you can get them all sorts of different colors, and you can light up the whole gauge cluster with the bright, vibrant, beautiful color of your choice. I chose blue because it matches my car. I'm going to do red ones and see about doing red to my wife's probe, because she's got, I believe, colored plastic, but I've got white gauge faces for her car. Her original cluster is actually this one right here, which has black faces. So we'll have to see. I've got a monkey with that. But yeah, so if they're not working, just check and make sure there's power there. You know, the question to ask is, you know, is it just the gauges that aren't lighting up? Is the other stuff in the car lighting up, like the heat and AC stuff? Because, like, if the heat and AC controls are still lighting up, and, like, stuff like the cigarette, the light inside the cigarette lighter, or the ashtray light, or the light for the rear defrost switch or hatch release switch, if that stuff's lighting up, then you know you've got power to it, and you're just not getting power to the dash. Show for the heck of it. This is the cluster out of a 1990 Omni. They dropped the oil pressure gauge and went with an electronic speedometer. Wiring's a bit different. I figured I'd show it for the hell of it. So yeah, if you're not getting it to work, you know, if you're looking for something simple, you can just wire a switch into it to power, you know, and have it come on all the time with the key, or however you see fit, or you can run a wire from the orange wire at the headlight switch. Just a solid orange wire throughout all the different years. So hopefully that helps.